everyone, so it is me, Solely Cures, and dLifeHD here. We're about to head over to the theater to watch the premiere of Beauty and the Beast, so stay tuned and we will get back to you and let you know how it was and what we thought and everything we see, and especially with the controversy that's been going on about the new take on what Disney is presenting. So stay focused and bye! Say bye.
Bye. What is up, everybody? And so we just watched Beauty and the Beast, and it was really good.
Awesome.
I was actually impressed.
No pause needed.
Yeah, I was actually impressed with how good it was. But first,
I'm buying the soundtrack.
Yeah, she's gonna buy the soundtrack. But that's not what I was gonna say. How exactly does it compare to the original?
Really not much of a comparison, but there are differences in the story, significant. So if you want to watch the movie without any spoilers, turn it off right now.
Alright, you turn it off now? Okay.
Well, if they turn it off.
I realized it was a joke. On to you.
Okay, so there's slight differences. Flashback from the Beast himself as a child and how he became to have this hardened heart or cold-heartedness to his personality. We had a flashback there. There's also some information with Belle and her father, as well as backstories of how she lost her mom. Mrs. Potts have a great ending. I love it. Thank you guys so much. I love that Mrs. Potts have a story. I've always been wondering why poor Mrs. Potts, her and the kid and no one with her. There is a Mr. Potts in the story, so we're very excited. At least I'm very excited that she gets a happy ending. Lumiere was Lumiere as always, but he also has a wonderful ending as well. But funny thing is, like, Clocksworth also has a female, and she is not what you usually expected. Thank you though. It's very interesting to see someone, you kind of get an idea of his personality and why he's the way he is, kind of. I mean, the ending of where it's like, turn back into a clock is awesome. And there's some other bits and pieces in there, so we're not going to try to take the whole story away from you, but I thought it was pretty interesting. And I want to adopt one of the wolves, can I?
That might be a little risky.
It was awesome.
But yeah.
Ooh, and Gaston and what's his LeFou has also slight ending. LeFou turns team, and he actually become friends with Mrs. Potts and switch sides. So that was pretty interesting as well. I think there was a deeper psychological meaning towards the whole movie in itself, and I'll be typing away and posting up on my page, Facebook page, so that you can see that. That's going to be a lot of writing because there was so many points that I was so interested in. Some of the words and key points that the Beast, Belle, and some of the villagers made, it was amazing.
Yep. Now, a couple of the positives that I noticed were like the cinematography was incredible. Like, how could you turn the what?
I said that's your job.
Yeah,
that's what you noticed.
The cinematography was incredible. Like, how could you turn that like magical moment like into like real objects?
They did a really good
they
job
did a
at that.
really great job at that. See, they had color. Like in the castle, there was some color. It was not all white people.
I was thinking, no,
Yes.
it was so elaborate. The designs and the pieces within the set. Okay,
that's not exactly what I was talking about.
Okay, shush. My turn again.
No.
Sorry.
It's my turn.
No, okay. It was the design. The set design was gorgeous. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It was actually really nice. But what I was talking about, like, they had like mixed races in there.
Diversity.
They had diversity in there.
I was gonna write that. Now you just
Which I
took
thought-
away that. But yes, I loved it.
Yeah, which I thought was an interesting twist
And I
to
didn't
it.
think it was like some movies when they try to throw in diversity, they make
Right.
it so fake and forced and you can see it. But no, there's slight things that doesn't match for the timepiece that they're giving. Yes, we wouldn't have had black people in court, technically, of high stature. But I did like how it kind of depicted the population of now. So it was like you didn't have like a huge mass of colored or
Right.
mixed people. You had just enough to say that represent the true population, and I love that fact. And of course, there's a lot of different pieces that you notice with Belle and how she handled herself. Like with the corset, you saw that it was loose. It wasn't actually tight fitting like it would be for that time or for the other women. There were also you actually see her have a role as a person other than walking and reading and knowing that she's this individual that's headstrong, but it was kind of more of, you saw her as a farmer, you saw her inventing, you saw her coming up with plans and trying to make a difference, teaching a girl how to read. It's like the whole time this is happening. Yes, yes, yes. I love it. I'm sorry, I'm taking over your spot.
Yeah, it's okay.
But it was parts of all those little parts that I loved so much. And there was still slightly pieces that are like, got to me because so many times characteristics of someone that's curious for life that wants to change is depicted in females as wrong or use negative what's the word I'm looking for, not in negative,
In a
spin
negative
of,
light.
yes, not the word I was looking for, but let's go with that.
Okay.
And so I kind of like the fact that she kind of made a twist on it, kind of, but there were some pieces that were hanging, but I'm still ready to go on it, and I will be writing that down on my blog, just to tie it in, to say what my pieces are. But I love a lot of the messages that were coming through, and I will also be writing on the relationship of Gaston and Le Fou.
Now you could tell that Blanche was quite into it, so and I was into it too,
Cried
but
just a little bit.
I guess not as much as her, but it was really good. Now let's talk about the negatives, or not the negatives, but like the parts that were a little ridiculous, I guess you could say. To me, like one of the parts that was a little ridiculous was like, okay, as a cartoon, like it's a woman and a beast, you know, and like flying dishes and all that stuff. But like when it turns into real life, it's like there's a woman falling in love with the beast.
See, okay, I understand.
It's just a little
where
weird.
You say it's a little weird, but then again, I thought a lot of it had to do with figuratively. It's
Right.
like, and
No,
it's like
I know
have
what
to
you
think
mean.
of the psychological plane in that aspect. I'm like, where Gaston is riding out to confront the beast, you see Le Fou right behind him. He's like, yeah, there's a beast present here, but I'm not sure it's the one that we think,
Right.
or like. So that's showing like, yeah, it's a beast, but it's like there's a beast in kind of like we find those in society. There are people that personalities are just
Right.
so, let me just leave it there. That. And then I think that's what was part of it. And like a lot of it was just noticing the different personalities, I think. And then a point that I really, really liked. It's in France, it's in Paris, and in the cartoons you had like little French phrases, but in the movie it's kind of like you could see the attempt of having a French accent in some of that, and they use more
Right.
French words. So it's like more believable that it's actually situated in a French village. So that was also kind of very interesting. And the library at the town was also more realistic for olden small town. You had like 5 or 6 books, and I'm like, watching the cartoon, I was like, how did they have so much library for a small town and nobody reads? Who donated these books? So this is more realistic, and I love that fact.
Oh yeah, that was impressive. It was just
He's gonna
huge.
get that for me.
Maybe
one
one
day.
day. But no, yeah, that library was impressive. I was like,
Oh, speaking of libraries and books, when they started the war against the villagers, you know, where the furnitures are now attacking the villagers, why did Cogsworth use books? I literally gasped in the theater when I saw him say ready, and all I saw was a pile of books and he's just letting them fly. I'm like, the abomination, how dare you? Just, what were you thinking? You abused books. Abused books. Wonderful books.
I was like, all right.
That was not funny.
I know. I'm sorry.
Some good books died. They gave their lives.
They gave their lives for a good cause. No?
Like the one you put under our bed.
Yeah, something like that. But I'm not gonna add that in the video. Or maybe I am. You never know. I'm crazy enough to do it. But anyways, how would you rate this movie, my darling? Let's say like you had to give it a rating out of 10. What would you give it?
I think the music, wonderful. I think the backdrop, the setting, gorgeous. And I think Emma and I don't even know who played the Beast, and Gaston. Actually, so much of the cast was amazing. Like, you could feel the affliction, the emotions, and they really stayed true to their character.
Yeah.
So I would say I would give them a 9. It was like when the Beast was singing, you actually heard pain and longing in his voice. It was awesome. And then Emma showing that, Belle, showing that slightly different side of all those girls that want to break out of that mold, longing for something slightly different than what's dictated to them. I think that was amazing. Again, I could have my personal biases because I saw so much of myself in that story, and Beauty and the Beast has always been one of my favorites, so I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, actually that's exactly what I would have also given it as well. Mainly because everything was accurate. It was like accurate to the old representation, and I personally enjoyed it. So that's all. 2 thumbs way up. Woo. See you later, everybody, and thank you for watching. Peace.